I'm Chantel, the founder of Sister Shack CIC, and today's session is called Being Me in the Music Industry. And it's a collaboration between Sister Shack and Northern Roots, and it's funded by Tour de Moon. So this session will give a group of women and non-binary people a chance to explore what it feels like to be in the music industry as someone from the global majority, the challenges, the joy, and a bit of pushing back onto the industry. And being a woman or non-binary person of color in the music industry can be quite lonely on occasion, and it can also be incredibly connecting for those of us here. In this broadcast, we'll be chatting to 5 people from the Northeast music scene, talking about their experiences and sharing their thoughts and feelings. And in this session, I'll be speaking one-to-one with Kay Grayson, Azula Bandit, Maxine, Jacqueline, and Cece. And after the one-to-ones, we'll have a quick video interval, and then we'll head straight into a panel discussion. And in the discussion, you'll have the chance to ask questions. And if you're watching from the YouTube, please put your questions in the chat area, and we'll try to get through as many as possible. So I'm going to go straight into it because we don't really have that much time, and we've got a lot to get through. And just to be mindful that we're all small organizations, and we try very hard with what we do. And this chat is just a kind of little fun response to how we feel about the music industry. So the first person I'll be speaking to is Kay Grayson. Let's go, Kay. How are you doing? We're gonna unmute you.
Yes. Yeah. Hi, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Great. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Really loving the jacket.
Thank you. Had to come through.
Do we call it drip? What do we call it?
We do call it drip. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We call it drip.
Showing my age now. Could you start just by introducing yourself to everyone?
Yeah, so my name is Kay Grayson, and I'm a rapper / lots of things from Newcastle. And
have you lived here all your life?
Yep, born and raised, RVI born. Yeah, I'm Newcastle born and bred.
That's like true Geordie status, right? The RVI?
It's true. That's where the true Geordies come from, yeah.
And as you can hear, I'm not a true Geordie, but I am, in my heart, I am.
That counts.
How would you describe your music style or your rapping style? Or
I would describe my music style as fun. It's something that you can dance to, but at the same time, if you listen to the words, it'll make you think. I like to tell stories about my life and stories that I hope that people can relate to, and just it's kind of it's like I'm forcing everybody to listen to my journal, I think. But yes, that's how I would describe it.
And how long would you say that you've been doing it professionally?
Professionally, I did my first gig when I was 11 years old, so that would be 14 years ago now. I started when I was really, really young.
Yeah, really, that's super young, yeah. And when did you start writing?
I started writing, I wrote my first song when I was about 6. My dad, he's a musician, played in bands and things like that all his life. So I just kind of went, I want to do that, and sort of got into it through that, and then started performing a few years later.
And outside of being a musician, what are your other interests?
I'm interested in, I've recently become interested in sort of theatre and acting, things like that. I started doing that probably about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago now. But creative stuff in general, I'm really interested in. I'm very interested in basketball, but I'm also 5'7", so that hasn't took off in the way that I would like it to. So doing music and acting at the moment.
Yeah, I've seen that you've been doing some stuff with Alphabetti. I think is that mainly where you've been doing theatre things?
Yeah, Alphabetti is a fantastic venue for artists who are sort of just starting out, people writing, directing, or creating work. They've been championing some really great pieces over the past year, and obviously that I've been aware, and then before that as well. Yes, I've been doing a lot of stuff with them. Made a theatre show this summer called Brotherhood with me and my friends. Which I managed to write and direct, which was really, really cool.
And how many shows were there of that?
We did 18 shows and 3 matches. So that was was a marathon, not a sprint, but it was very good. Yeah.
That must have been really enjoyable though.
So fun working with like my best friends, people I've known for years and years, and sort of having that first crack at like actually writing a theatre show was taxing, but very, very fun. Very fun.
No, I did script writing at uni and I haven't written a script since. I can't even imagine like writing a whole play and then performing 18 shows. That must have been draining, but really, really just like heartwarming and wonderful.
Yeah, both of those things. It was one of those things that I only realised how much work it was going to be once we were like, I think it was like opening night. Like, and I was like,
once it's too late.
Way too late. Way too late. Yeah.
How did the COVID pandemic affect your focus and musical career?
The COVID pandemic was a difficult one, I think, for everyone involved. For me, I sort of was able to look at the upside in a sense of I'd been gigging solidly for about 5 years before then, like to the point where the summer before I was doing like double barrel. So I was like doing 2-3 gigs a day and like then working through, and like, so it was getting very, very hectic. And then sort of COVID came and it was like, sit down. so I ended up sort of having a lot of time to sit and write and reflect and think and grow. And yeah, like I've been doing music since I was 11. I've always been a musician, and I kind of got a chance to be just a person for a while and not sort of attach myself to my career so much. It was like I had to just live. I didn't have an opportunity to do music on one side, and then on the other side I kind of was able to be creative in my own ways and figure out new ways to be creative, and started working with Northern Roots and doing all this cool stuff outside of my own practice to work with other people. Yeah, so it was a two-sided coin at all points, is how I'd describe it.
It sounds like it was a very restful time for you, at least a reflective, restful time.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose.
In the positive, looking at a positive way of it.
Looking at it in a positive way, yes, definitely.
Can you tell me a little bit? I haven't really explained about Northern Roots. Could you explain? I mean, I know you don't own Northern Roots, but could you explain, what they are and what you've done with them and how they've, I guess, helped you or pushed you?
So Northern Roots is an organisation that sort of works with lots of different people, all different kinds of people, and on the side that I'm involved in, to do sort of creative projects, do creative things, and live events, things like that. So I got involved with them where we wanted to make a program during COVID. We sort of realized that me as a musician who was like way more established was finding it difficult to keep going during the pandemic. And I was like, if I am finding it difficult, then young people must be like totally finding it difficult. So we created a program where we wanted 5 young people to come forward and we would be able to support them during the pandemic. And we got like 30 responses, and then it just kept snowballing. And we were working with only with sort of young Black musicians and sort of trying to give them an opportunity to sort of, I suppose, keep going during the pandemic. So that was where it started. And then it branched off to being like, now that the pandemic's over, we do live events, we do all kinds of things.
And I guess, was it odd seeing people sort of online and then meeting them in the real world?
Totally. Like, I felt like I was speaking to people for like 2 years by the time I met them in person. And by the time I got to see the music that they were doing live, like it was unreal.
Was it a really interesting progression, like seeing them go to that and seeing their personalities when they're in person?
Yeah, because even so, like the people we were working with were quite young when we started the work. So even just seeing them grow up was an amazing thing. And
young people just grow up within, like, I've got a 13-year-old, and within like a few days he'll be away for like a week and he comes back and I'm like, who are you?
New person.
You changed a whole new person. And they learn, they pick up things so quickly.
Yeah, it's true.
Where's been your favorite place to perform, or places?
That's a good question. I performed at I managed to perform at the Royal Albert Hall a
I
couple of
remember
years ago.
seeing you saying that. I was like, what?
That was
What?
one of those moments where I was like, "Are you guys sure this is Kay Grayson? This is the right one you booked?" But yeah, they asked me to come down and perform, and I mean, there was people there who were performing with like orchestras and all this stuff, and then I kind of just walked out with a mic and was like, "Hi, everybody." Yeah,
Hurried?
all right, yeah, literally. So that was really really fun. But more recently, I was able to do Finsbury Park for Sam Fender's festival.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
So
that.
that was amazing, and we were on quite early, but we managed to pull like massive crowd, and like everyone was showing so much love. So yeah, that's probably my most recent favorite place to play.
And what are one of your sort of proudest achievements? What are you most proud of since starting your career?
Um, I'm most proud of, so it's the small things really. It's like even when I look at like recently my friend just started DJing, and he'd never DJed before, but he's always loved music, and I've recently had a chance to bring him on as like my like official DJ. He's called DJ Streets. So even being able to just look and go out, now me and my friends get to work together, and there's the dance group Vitamin Noir, which is made up of my friends as well.
They're great.
Yeah,
Really great.
obviously I love them because they're my friends, but it's like even just being able to see them perform and be on stage surrounded by all these people that I love is like, that's probably been like that's when I feel the proudest, I would say.
That's lush. Thank you very much, Kay. Before I go, I just want to see, I was going to ask, could you let everyone know where they can find you and any of your music or?
Yeah, so you can find me online at Kay Grayson, that's KAYGREYSON on everything. So Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're on, I'm probably there. Yep, and other than that, in the street.
And have you got anything coming up?
I have some new music coming out next year. I have a song that's just come out called Slow Song, which is this first single from an EP that I'm dropping next year. But I think the next single is coming at the beginning of the year. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Kay. Really lovely to speak to you. And we're going to next go to Azula Bandit.
Sorry, I had a prawn halfway down my throat.
Perfect. Hi. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, all right. Keeping all right. Right, I know you. But can you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I am Azula Bandit, sometimes known as Lirato, but mostly Azula Bandit. I'm a lot of things. I'd just say an all-round creative. I like to dip myself in and out of different art forms, but I'm mainly known for as a dancer. And through that, just doing my own stuff, like with my business, Bounce with Bandit, and the odd collaboration with the people around the Northeast and around the UK as well. And for the last year, I've also been coming out as a DJ and really starting to view myself trying to navigate both of those two worlds. Event producing, circus, arts. Yeah, I like a bit of everything. So I can't say there's like one place for me. But
yeah, I think because we're talking about the music industry today, I'm going to concentrate more so probably on your DJing and maybe a little bit of your events as well, because that will involve music as well. Yeah, I just want to ask you, out of all the things that you do, which one do you find the most, not interesting, that's not the right word, I guess, which one do you find the most fulfilling at this moment?
at this moment, it is my DJing. Like I can't not deny that. But also further, like even as a dancer, like I can't say that dancers are not part of the music industry. It's something that I even like was thinking about before I even came to
Mm.
speak on here. And yeah, dancers are a huge part of the music industry that I think are often forgotten about, which kind of also steered me towards my DJing more. But at the same time, I've never forgot my dancing roots. I also make dancing a part of my sets and think about how, as I progress, how I'm also going to pay respect to where I started and how I'm going to bring dancers on in future when I do start progress. Yeah.
Well, I think if anyone here has seen you DJ, or anyone in the audience, you do a lot of dancing when you're DJing.
Yeah.
Surprised you haven't fallen off the stage yet.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm ready. You better start cheering for me. You better cheer. When I fall off that stage, I need you to all make some noise. It's gonna happen.
Did you find, as I asked Kay before, did you find that the pandemic, I mean, we're still in it really, people are still getting COVID, you know, we're not out of it, but I guess in regards to not being able to leave the house and do things, did you find that that made you kind of want to change your direction, or did it come more organically?
Um, it was definitely kind of a mixture of both. I never quite really set out to be a DJ like on my own intentions, but it was something that I always wanted to do, and it was actually someone else that invited me to learn from them. And yeah, that's how I got here today. Um, but yeah, it was definitely something that I did a lot more of. Well, I did most of my learning and processing through the pandemic. Yeah.
I mean, you spoke about, obviously, my bad, but you know, dance is very much part of the music industry. Of course it is. With your dancing, is there, would you say that now you're DJing probably even more, probably on the same scale, if not more so than dancing? Would you found that you've had more success quicker with DJing, or was dancing something that you had more success with, but you're just not as, it's not your main focus anymore?
I'd say I've had my like moments that I felt equally successful in both. At the minute, I'm definitely veering more towards DJing. Like dance will always have a part of my heart. I'm never gonna not stop it completely. But yeah, that's a direction that I'm starting to go heading towards. Not that I don't enjoy being a dancer, it's just navigating when you're in the music industry as a dancer is necessarily like more difficult as you were as somebody who is perceived as a vocalist kind of person. When you're someone that's used to just moving and people don't expect a lot from you to speak, it's hard to navigate in that kind of sense and get.
What do you find hard to navigate in terms of the dance industry?
I think a lot of elements from it is respect from people, whether that be people, it can be from anyone. It's quite competitive as well in some senses. So it can have its own problems there. Sometimes you can walk into a situation where you're working and you don't know who you're going to be working with, and you can feel really alienated in those kind of senses. I can say that I've had more positive experiences than negatives, of course, but those kind of memories do kind of stick in there. And yeah, it just makes me think of more. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that many global majority people, I myself have experienced burnouts when navigating, you know, the industries that we're in. Has this been the same for you?
Yeah. At the same time, I think that's kind of my own doing. I do like doing a lot of different things all at once. Also, at the same time, for me personally, I find that it's easier to reach burnout when you start to push yourself in a certain way. Like for myself, I feel like I'm pretty niche for Newcastle sometimes. So when I try to push a lot of what I sell, I think a lot of people don't grasp onto it, which then that starts to make me burn out as well, since too. So I'm often known to like take back seats and take times out and come back again and do everything kind of seasonally. So that's my way of kind of not getting to that point.
I mean, you know, we've done quite a lot of events together now, and it's been really interesting to see like global majority of people, and actually we are here doing these things.
We're killing it.
Exactly, but yet you still see your counterparts who aren't global majority rising much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because you think, well, are they better than me? but then when you come to our events, people are really, really excited to see us, but then we don't get these. And I guess unless you're super, super niche, you don't really get these bookings.
I don't think it's a sense of thinking that they are better than me.
Well, I mean, we know we're not, but we know they're not.
Yeah.
But you start to question yourself.
You do. But I think a lot of that comes from where the opportunity is given. I always try and like split myself kind of between those worlds, like being able to work with people from the global majority and people from not from majority as well. But I personally struggle when it's people from not the majority. I can't even get my words out. When it's not people from the global majority. Lots of reasons why around that too. But yeah, I definitely feel like I get a lot more understanding when I'm with people like ourselves. Like even sometimes when you see something, you don't even need words. You can just look at each other and you just know. Like
all you have to do is send that one letter text, one word.
mate.
After the things happen, you know, even the event we did together this weekend, you know, the magic of it, the absolute magic, and the feeling you go home, you don't feel stressed. You just feel like everything's gone fine, and everyone's got your back. And I think that's really hard for people to understand unless you are sort of a global majority person in.
Oh, totally. It's mad that you mentioned that because I saw like the juxtapositions from the two nights because I did your night on the Saturday and Boiler Room on the Friday, and for me that was a huge deal. Like I'm not even gonna try and mince my words. Like I was stressing, I was nervous, and I went in there with the full knowledge. Like I'm gonna mistake, I'm gonna f up. Yeah. What's the rule on swearing, by the way?
Just no major words. It's fine.
I know I'm trying so hard not to right now, but in case it slips out, you know. But yeah, like I did have that knowledge of myself. Like I'm gonna fuck up, but hey ho, we're gonna keep it going. My one mission that night was to not switch the music off on myself, which is something that I can still do. And it was something that I did in my last gig in Manchester, even though that was still a great all in all set. I know everybody in there loved it. I still switched the music off on myself. And that was my one key for this gig, was not switching my music off on myself. And boom, I did it. Didn't stop the music. Hey, was it my best set? I know it was not, absolutely not. But you can literally sometimes like I just like I have a seventh sense sometimes. I just know I can just feel like some judgy eyeballs, and I look up and lo and behold, there's two or three people just stood there. You can tell that you just came here to judge. I'm like rah, as if, but okay, I'm still the one up here having fun. But
did you find that the space, you know, even the events we've done together, it's still a majority white space. But when it's organized by a global majority in mind, it has a different feeling. Did you feel that like at the Boiler Room, because you know it's a massive opportunity and it's not something you can turn down, but did you find that still with it being a majority white audience and a white space, did it feel different?
Oh yeah. it was pretty jarring, like in the sense that I know what I'm playing, and these guys, I know a lot of them don't. At the end of the day, I could tell most of them were enjoying it. Like there were people in there that were totally vibing, but I'm just like, rah, I don't think some of you know what this feels like for me.
Yeah.
Like I just get into a whole different kind of level for it. Um, I can't help those feelings of alienation sometimes, even though I feel like I do handle them well. I'm pretty good at being that person in the moment. But yeah, sometimes I'm just a bit, ooh, I need to be with my peeps.
It's more the after bit, isn't it? In the
Mhm.
moment, you're all right a lot of the time, or you mask it, and then you get home and you're like,
Absolutely,
takes me
yeah.
about a week to recover. It really like saps something out of you, doesn't it? Just gives you that little bit of like, oh, that pull. I want to ask about your musical instrument, your musical and non-musical inspirations, because you know I know you're at Boomtown this summer, and you met one of your idols
I
dancing
did.
on stage, doing your dance thing. Can you tell us about that?
Oh my days, Moonchild Sanelli.
Who was it?
Moonchild Sanelli. She's a South African vocalist. She's an absolutely incredible artist. I've been following them for as long as I can remember. I knew they were going to be there, and I basically made a plan that I was going to be getting there first, front and center of the stage. And if she pulls people up on stage, I'm getting on that stage. So anyway, boom.
Manifest. Manifest.
But looking back now, I do remember there was supposed to be a ticket going for the winner of that dance competition. And I'm sorry, like the way I threw myself across that stage, I had to run, but I never got my ticket. But hey ho, just follow me on Instagram and that's good enough.
What was it like to meet them?
It was just amazing. Like, I never thought I was going to be meeting her. Well, I thought I'd meet her one day, but the lineup for Boomtown wasn't actually released until like the night before. So I was actually already on site that night. And then I was just like, oh my God, Muchad Sanelli's going to be here. And at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, I am somehow on that right kind of level of frequency that Muchad Sanelli is on. Like, yo, the universe has brought us to this moment here. Like, it just felt magical in that sense. And I was just like, nah, I'm at least going to get on that stage, say hello and give her a hug and walk away at the very least.
That was the very least. You did the most.
I did.
What's been, as a DJ, what has been your favorite place to perform so far?
Oh, Ben and Jacobs, like that's home. Like that was my first, I'd say, proper booking. Yeah, I'd done some smaller gigs here and there, like at friends' back gardens or in like small venues that weren't really like kind of like they weren't kind of sold as parties. They were just, this is you trying to play for a live audience. But when I did Ben, that was like my actual proper debut. And it was nice. Thank you. I love that.
Just say Ben and Shake's a queer night that Sister Shack and myself have organised, and we've been doing it for the last year. And Larato, or Azula, I was queer Larato, I shouldn't. Azula has performed everyone so far, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, dancing and DJing.
Yes,
oh, not the Pride one. You missed the Pride one, didn't you?
Yeah, the Pride one I did miss, but yes.
But it's been wonderful, and it's been, you know, it's
to
have you there has been really great, and yeah, it's always a nice vibe there. Global Majority run events are the way forward.
Yeah,
they really are. I want to ask you one more question before we go on to speak to Maxine next. What are the best bits about all your lines of work, you know, and what are your least favorite bits?
I could go on with that answer. Let me think. My favorite bits. It's nice to see when everything comes together. Especially if there's been a lot of stress around it. I mean, I am known to be quite a bit of a stress head, but I'm a particular kind of person. I like things to go a particular way sometimes, and if I don't, if I'm not seeing it as it's going along, I can get a bit tunnel vision in that and start stressing out. So yeah, maybe I do it to myself. But yeah, after a stressful run up to an event and you see it go well, that's amazing. Like when you're in that moment, the crash afterwards is always the hardest, when it's like a huge stress, one short moment of joy, and then it's gone again the next day. But
I think that's yeah, I'm an instant gratification person, and if I don't get that instant gratification, I can't do it right. I just completely stress and burn out.
I like to know that I've done myself proud. Like I've always said, like as long as I'm proud of me, that's what matters, and everything after that is a bonus. Like I'm not going to wait for no one else's approval to feel proud of myself, and no one else should either.
I love that. That are words to live by. Thank you so much, Azula. Thank you. And we're going to now speak to Maxine. Hopefully. No? Yes? Yes? No? Okay, why don't we go on to Jacqueline and we'll see if we can come back to Maxine.
Hi, so just unmuting myself there.
That's all right. See if we can get Maxine back after. We'll go. I'm sorry to jar you a bit there.
It's all good. It's all
Come
good.
on, come through. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Just lovely to see all these familiar faces in the room with me. It's been lovely.
I know, it's great.
So yeah, I'm gonna just go straight in and just say, please, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jacqueline and I'm a techno DJ and producer based in Newcastle, but born in London.
How long have you been up here?
I've been up here for 5 years, I believe. So yeah, not too long, but a little bit too long.
You're gonna make my southernness come out.
Here we go.
Don't speak to that many southerners. So when I see one, I'm like, all right, how's it going?
The Cockney's coming
Yes.
out.
Can you describe your DJ style? And you said some
Yeah, of
like,
course.
could you give us a bit more of a technical, I guess, aspect of what you do?
Yeah, so my techno sound is pretty much underground, so pretty much club based, I would say hypnotic, rolling techno, very similar to, the African repercussions that used to, go ahead like a long time ago in tribes and stuff like that. But I would say just very hypnotic and very rolling.
And how long have you been doing that for professionally?
Oh, I've been doing that for 2 years, I believe. And that was the same time when I started producing as well.
Oh yes, because you produce as well, don't you? Of course, DJ and producer.
Yes.
It's been interesting because I only knew it's been 2 years, so you effectively sort of started in lockdown almost, I guess.
Yeah, so I was producing way before that, and I remember just putting a track on SoundCloud, a really good track that I produced, a techno track, and I used Nina Simone samples to kind of like make the track more more intense, towards the feelings of like how we are as a person of color and the kind of feelings that she had towards the scene herself, and it was basically from an interview called. An interview from 1958, and she was talking about no fear. I think a lot of people know that one, and I just sampled a few sections from that interview and I included it in the track, but I wasn't looking to kind of like sign up with a label to kind of like release that track. I just wanted it out there, because it was during lockdown. It was a very intense moment, with Black Lives Matter and things like that, so it was just very personal for me. And a northern label service from the northeast picked that track up and was like, would like to release that music because it was very powerful. And ever since then, I just kept on making music and releasing more tracks, more underground tracks today rather than electronic tracks, but yeah.
And what started you at wanting to be a producer? When did you start that, and what kind of gave you that sort of push to start it?
I started that, I would say 5 years ago, I would say. So it wasn't anything serious. I would, mess around it with Ableton, put some tracks on SoundCloud, with my synths that I've got at home. I didn't really necessarily think that, I would release like an album or release any track on, on any label. It was just more, kind of like a self-release, a hobby that I would do. But it got more serious towards, I would say, lockdown, when I got more into it and I started to really like apply myself.
What did you learn on vinyl first?
Yes, so I used to collect a lot of records, a lot. That's kind of toned down now because it's just, with DJing and stuff like that, it's just a lot, I would say. I still do it, I still DJ and I still DJ on vinyl, but I think it's just more easier for me in terms of like moving around. Like if I have international gigs, the USB stick's just so much more easier, these days. So I just go with that. But I still do enjoy, collecting records and DJing on vinyl for sure.
I had to make that move and it crushed my soul.
I know, it really does. It really
make
does.
that move from like vinyl to
I know, it's awful, but so much easier, isn't it?
Oh, it's so much easier. I don't miss it in some ways, but I just miss that feel of vinyl. I miss it. Like it's just, when you just crack open that record and you just pull it out and you just get a little bit of a wipe and you're like, oh, this feels so good.
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's actually
definitely.
quite rare to meet someone, especially like your age, like that actually uses vinyl and like started from that, mainly because it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Decks are really, really expensive. And having access to decks, unless you've got a mate or someone who's got a set that's either willing to lend you them or and I'm not being patronized when I say you're like super young or anything. I just mean,
no, absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of like techno DJs are old white men, middle-aged white men, you know, if they play vinyl.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? When you start with vinyl and then you go and you do like your digital kind of mixing, it really helps in terms of like beat matching and stuff like that. So like I think like starting off from like vinyl and then moving on to like what we do today with CDJs is much more easy, I would say. I didn't struggle that much, you know, with that transition. I suppose, but it definitely helps in terms of like, you know, like the strategy of like bringing in tracks and stuff like that, and you train your ears much better as well. So yeah, it's definitely one of those benefits.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, I could talk about vinyl all day, I'm not going to, but it's been really lovely as well to meet another Black woman identifying person
100%.
that plays vinyl for a start and is a DJ, and but particularly, you know, like playing vinyl and like doing old school and like playing, I mean, I don't play techno, but it's just, you're the first person I think that I've met in the Northeast, I mean, not ever, but like probably the first Black woman that I've come across that has been quite successful in what you do in that sort of, because you've got such a niche in the music style. And yeah, you're the first person that I've met in the Northeast, I think. Apart from now, you know, Azula is now coming and doing their own thing as well, which is great. And it's a, you know, completely different style again, but there's not many of us up here.
Absolutely.
You know, and especially one playing techno. It's kind of,
it's nice, and it's definitely nice to see that, if you know what I mean, because you feel alone sometimes, you know, with the color, you know, being Black and being in this industry and not seeing like a lot of Black artists on the decks doing their things. Sometimes you feel a bit alone, you can't really relate to other people. So it makes me super happy to see people that look just like me that are doing the same things, especially up here, because it's so, I would say it's such a minority. It's very small. We don't see that a lot. And it's something that needs to be more, you know, normalized, I would say, within our scene. Yeah, so it's definitely important. And I encourage that 100%. To see more Black women, to see more non-binary people up on the decks doing their own thing. And if anyone's watching and they want to get into it, you know, you can always message me and you know, so yeah, I definitely encourage that. Yeah,
I think it's been a marvel to see it up here, actually, just the few that have come up. I've been here 19 years, and it's just like, it's not a big birth, and there's not many of us non-binary people or women, but just seeing the odd couple, my eyes are like, whoa, like,
yeah, I know.
It inspires me as well to play more and be more out there, because especially like seeing you from like lockdown onwards, like I didn't know you existed in Newcastle, and I was like, who is this person? Where have you been? Where have you been? Did you know, I was asking Azula, have you, you know, I think global majority of people, we experience burnouts sometimes. Have you experienced that at all?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it was last year. It was, you know, DJing every single weekend. I think to the point where it was like back and forth, people messaging you, can you play here? Can you do this? Can you do this? After a while, I think I experienced that burnout where I was really extremely tired. I lost a bit of passion in music. I didn't want to listen to music as much as I listened to it before. I didn't want to look for new music. It was just it was a very difficult path, where I just felt, you know what, is it right for me? Am I doing the right thing? Do I still want to do this? Maybe so, you start experiencing imposter syndrome, really, where you start thinking, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe someone else should have that opportunity. Maybe I shouldn't be on the decks. Maybe someone else is greater than me. And I think it's due to, you know, you're self-conscious, saying to yourself, you know what, maybe I'm not right for it. Maybe it's just, but it's just, all it is, it's just you're burnt out. You're doing way too much than you're supposed to be doing. Don't forget that it's your job, but also it's your passion. It's something you enjoy. So take your time with it as you go. And I think I just stopped for a month, stopped DJing. People came to me asking me if I wanted to DJ, and I was like, sorry, I'm not really into it at the minute. And I think it was me just trying to protect myself and, you know, look at ways of how I could manage that kind of stress. And sometimes you just need a break from the music scene. That's all it is. And then come back more fresh, open-minded, and then you can get back onto it. But yeah, I've definitely experienced it.
Yeah, like you say, it's alienating up here.
Yeah.
You don't have people to speak to about it. And also you don't want to speak to your global majority of friends about it, because you don't want to trigger them and burn them out either. And yeah, you know, you don't want to be like, hey, I've experienced this kind of racist incident, or this has happened to me, can we talk about it? Because you know they'll have had that experience, and it's like almost like flashbacks, and you want to ask them so much, but it's like, can't I? And then you try and ask your friends who aren't good majority, and they don't understand it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
What are you most proud of since starting your career?
I think I'm more proud of like pushing boundaries, I would say. There's certain things in life that I've done, whether it's producing or DJing or being in this music industry, but pushing the boundaries as, let's say, a woman of colour, but not also in the Northeast scene, but around the world, I would say. I didn't think it would take off that far, but it's been difficult. It has. There's been a lot of work behind it. Maybe, I'm not sure, I can't compare myself to anyone else, but I would say that I've worked hard enough to get where I am. So that's why I'm proud today in such a short space of time. But yeah, I think that it's that push from this year which has brought me to a place where I can, say that I can, take on, international gigs, for example, or further than the Northeast, or be represented around, the Northeast within a small collective. I think I'm more proud of that, where it's still ongoing and it hasn't really died down, and it's just getting a bit more greater. So it's definitely that path, that the career progression that I've managed to kind of put out there this year that I'm proud of.
It's been great to see that as well. I've seen you, like, we played, was it Berlin you were saying?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, and just like, I was like, wow, like you're going places. And it, like I said, I've only known about you for like a year and a half maybe, and see maybe 2 years now, but like just seeing you, because in the forefront it looks like it's just been a real quick natural progression, but we all know behind closed doors, especially if you're a global majority person, you always work that extra
Exactly,
harder. So you must have been working really hard in the background there. pushing. How can people see what you're up to and what your achievements have been so far? Have you got anything on your Instagram or links that people can have a look at?
Yeah, of course. So everything's based on my Instagram. If you go through my link page, you'd be able to see like all the remixes I've done, my productions, Bandcamp page, SoundCloud, all the mixes, and just keep posted, because there's a lot of podcasts that are coming through, a lot of new music that's coming through next year as well, a couple of remixes and just some more exciting things.
Wonderful. So is it just at Jacklyn, JACKLYN on Insta?
Yes, that's it. So Jacklyn, JA.CKLYN. That's on Instagram, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And I should have asked Azula, but we'll come back later for Azula's links as well. So far, I know that on Instagram it's just Azula Bandit, and for you it's JA space or JAC?
JA dot.
Yeah,
JA.CKLYN, yeah.
Showing my old age here, sorry. Yes, we're going to be doing the panel discussion later, so we'll go through some other questions a bit more. But thank you so much, Jacklyn. That was really great. Lovely to speak to you.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we can go to Maxine now. Hey, there we go. Hiya.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. When you feel like you're waffling a bit, I'm like, am I waffling?
Yeah.
Am I not?
No.
Am I doing all right? I'm doing all right?
Yeah, you're doing well. You are.
Can you introduce yourself, please, to everyone who's watching?
Hi. So my name is Maxine, and I'm a singer-songwriter from the Northeast. Well, based in the Northeast.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
How would you describe your music style?
I'll describe my music style as soulful, R&B, amapiano. It kind of, I'll just say I make soul music, but it can fit into like different sounds. R&B, soul is kind of like my main sound, and then amapiano as well.
Okay. Yeah. What sort of music do you listen to? Style, I should say.
I listen to a lot of music. Oh my gosh. I really enjoy, I'm an R&B girl, but I also love amapiano as well, and Afro beats.
Are we talking like 90s R&B, zeros?
Yes, 90s. Even new R&B.
Drop me some names.
Aaliyah.
course.
Lauryn Hill, SZA. She just dropped an album,
course,
so you
because
know.
season always.
Yeah. And Shasha.
Oh, I don't know Shasha.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Is that
Amapiano.
Amapiano? Or,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
or have you and Azula managed to chat about Amapiano yet?
Yes, we have actually. I think it was one of the Northern Roots gigs. It was
The one in the church?
yes, the Soweto Gospel.
Yeah, so that was one.
Yes. Yeah, that's where we met actually. That's the first time I met her, and we were just like talking about different stuff briefly.
That gig was amazing. Like, I've never seen so many black and brown faces on stage in one place in the Northeast ever. It was so good. It was just like watching the stage the whole time, like, oh, wow, how did you even pull this off? Amazing.
Yeah, it
Would
was.
you say that was one of your highlights?
This year?
The gig, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of my highlights. That gig was amazing. Like, I've never done anything like that before. I'd say another one of my highlights was the tour that I just did recently, Everything R&B tour.
Tell us about that.
So the Everything R&B tour was actually my first tour as an artist, and this was about 2 weeks ago. So I'm still fresh from tour, and it was in like 5 major cities, and just got to experience the tour live. It was with DJ Ace, who's one of the hosts for BBC One Extra.
We know it. I know Ace.
Yeah.
Not personally.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Excuse me, sorry, I just need to cough.
That's all right. Cough away.
Oh, jeez.
All right, it's the season. It's the coughing and sneezing season.
Yeah, it is. We're battling colds.
Yeah, it's constant at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are the best bits about your work? What do you enjoy the most?
I think I really enjoy the creative process. I feel like that's like one of my favorite parts. Whether it's just like me just expressing how I feel, or just challenging myself, like to write about something different, or to to write in a different style, because I usually write in a certain way, and sometimes I just like to challenge myself or just play around. I'd say another thing that is my favorite thing is just seeing how people react to my music. Like when people really resonate with it, it's just like, it's amazing. That's like, it touches my heart.
I feel like at the Northern Roots gig at the church, it was quite a lot of like sit downness, and I think I remember standing up when you came. Yeah. I was like, can I stand up? I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yes.
I think there was text behind me somewhere. A guy with dreads was like dancing away. I was like, yeah, I'm up now. I can't do this anymore. It was so good. It was so good. And I'd not seen a lot of, probably nearly any of you perform before. So yeah, it was just like a surprise, like, whoa. You look like you're having so much fun. You're really like happy on stage, like really smiley. You look like having the best time.
I do. I love being on stage, honestly. Like when I'm on stage, I'm just enjoying myself.
Do you feel like a completely different person on stage?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like not a completely different person, but I feel like I'm just where I belong when I'm on stage. And it's just all the it's like all the goodness that's contained, all the excitement in me just like comes out once I get on stage.
Even seeing you talk about it,
yeah,
the absolute excitement that you must that comes out when you're on stage as well. All the tea. Yeah. What do you do outside of music?
I do quite a lot. I don't know what to mention. So I really enjoy watching movies. I also I'm a makeup artist, a freelance makeup artist.
Great.
So that's one thing that I do as well. And I recently took a bit of an interest in acting.
Oh wow.
Like acting classes. Yeah. So that was quite fun. Yeah.
Where have you been doing that?
Sorry?
Where have you been doing that?
Here in the Northeast. I started doing taking a few classes with this like small acting agency, and one of the guy who kind of coordinates the whole thing is called Dan. I've forgotten his surname, but
Awesome.
yeah, he was amazing. Literally, it was so fun. Like, it didn't even feel like, I was in like a class. It just felt like I was just, having fun.
Well, that's the thing. That's, if it's something that you're learning and new, it should be fun.
Yeah, definitely. But
Have you done any collaborations with anybody, like musical collaborations, singing, I guess?
Like stuff that's out, or
just generally, performing, or who do you perform with? Who have you performed with?
I've performed with I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's called Matthias Sky.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, so he's an artist from the north. He's also based in the Northeast as well, and he's like he's amazing. At first, like the beginning of my music career, I started making a lot of music with him and Chico as well. That's where like all the actually getting in the studio and recording stuff started from, before even the releasing. So yeah, I've performed with him before. Who else have I collaborated with? Lofty.
Lofty, I know Lofty.
Yes, yeah, I've collaborated with Lofty, which was sick. He's really talented, amazing guy. I'm still yet to collaborate with a female artist.
Oh wow.
Yes, that's like
that needs to happen then soon.
Yes, it has to. It's my next thing.
Make it soon, please.
Yes.
Where can people find you and your music and just learn more about you?
People can find me on all social platforms. So Instagram at Golden Maxine. All my social media handles are at Golden Maxine, and can find me on YouTube as well, Maxine. All my music is on there. Spotify, my artist's name is Maxine, and yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll join you back for the panel discussion.
All right, thank you so much.
No, thank you, and we'll just go to our last one-to-one today, which is with Cece.
Hi.
Hiya. Last but not least. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Loving your hair. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Okay, could you introduce yourself, please?
Okay, my name is Cece. I'm a singer-songwriter from Stockton-on-Tees of the Northeast.
Oi, oi, Stockton, Teesside. And you're a musician, a singer. How would you describe your style?
My umbrella term is pop, which is really generic, but I'd say it's more, I'm leaning more towards Afro pop, I'd say. Yeah.
Afro pop, okay. Can you break that down for us?
Oh, so like pop in the sense of pop vocals, like your Beyonce's and etc. But with a vibe of like Ira Star, Thames, they're big influences for my music, I'd say. Now, my new music.
Your new music. What was your old music?
My old music was very pop, like very, very pop, which I still love, and I'd still definitely go back to. I still write to that type of stuff anyways, but lately I'm leaning more towards the Afro pop side of things.
Was it you I saw at the Northern Stage at the church singing? What did you sing? Was it a Beatles?
Sang the Beatles Blackbird.
You did. I was in one of the times, was it Beatles? I remember the wrong person. Yes, that was so good. My partner was sitting next to me, like singing. I mean, I'm not a massive Beatles fan. I don't really know many Beatles songs, but like I feel like it was like any sort of certain age, like white British person. It's like parents have listened to the Beatles, and she was just like singing away, and I'm like, I know this song, but I didn't know it was by the Beatles. It was so lovely. Like,
Thank you.
It was like it was just beautiful to hear it with a different, different perspective.
Exactly. That was my singing it, to sing it differently.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. I mean, I still don't know what the Beatles one sounds like, but I think I prefer yours. How did first of all, when did you start singing? Professionally, I guess, or singing in a way that you would describe as professionally?
Well, technically only 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I'd say I was only taking it seriously about a year and 3 months ago.
Okay. And you just had your 18th birthday?
Yes, I've just turned 18.
So lovely, so lovely. Do you write a lot of your own songs?
I write all my songs, like all my songs. Yes.
And when did you start writing songs?
Oh, lockdown. Yeah, lockdown.
Oh wow, not that long ago then.
Not that long ago at all. No.
Oh, like fresh.
Yeah. Very, very, very fresh to everything.
So did you sort of start, was it just before the pandemic started, or was it during?
I wasn't planning on doing music. The pandemic was kind of like the best thing that happened to me, because there's a lot of downtime. I was like, I think I can sing a bit. So I wrote my first song in the first lockdown, and then that first song became BBC One Extra's Track of the Week.
Wow.
So,
BBC One Extra Track. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I don't know what to say to that. Just wow. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was unbelievable for me.
Wow. And you were like 16 at the time?
I was 16. First,
you must have been doing your GCSEs at that point?
I was in year 11. I dropped the song on my 16th birthday, but I was in year 11 when I got that.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild. What's it called?
Cloud 9.
Cloud 9. I have heard it actually. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, I have heard it. Now I think about, yeah. God, that I probably even heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
So I listen to One Extra a lot. Like a lot. Wow, I didn't know that. That is amazing. You're 16, just 16, and then just being like, yeah, just casually being on One Extra, yeah, just like.
I missed the first streaming of it on One Extra because I was in class. So we had to come down to listen to it with my class.
Oh, it must have been an amazing feeling.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
A lot of cheering going on. So I would say that the COVID pandemic then really focused you.
Yes, massively. I wasn't going to do music before. I was very like, I'm from the Northeast, what can I do? But it's actually a blessing in disguise being from the Northeast doing music.
Yeah, well, I think, it's a hard one because I struggle being in the Northeast because of, being in the majority white spaces and, and opportunities. But actually you can make a lot for yourself if you kind of know where to go, but also have that in mind of like, you can be successful not from the South.
Yes, I think personally, in my opinion, being from the Northeast is actually a benefit when doing music. But yeah, it takes a different perspective to look at it that way.
Explain why.
Because in the South, it's really oversaturated with people doing music. There's thousands and thousands of people doing music. So to be from somewhere like the Northeast, there's not that many people doing it. And if you've got something unique going for you in the Northeast, we're more likely to stand out than if you were down south. Because I thought I have to go down south to do this, but no, being from Northeast has opened so many doors for me, so many.
That's really lush to hear. I was talking to someone maybe last week, and I was saying about that, about you can be a much bigger fish here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not so many of us up here doing what we do, and you can, and especially because I think down the south they're looking for people from up north as well. They're looking to go outside of that.
Yeah, especially funding, definitely.
Yeah. What's been your favourite place to perform?
Well, Reading and Leeds Festival has to have been. Has to have been summer. definitely.
Was it both Reading and Leeds?
Yes, I did Reading on the Friday and then travelled to Leeds to do Leeds on the Saturday.
That is so lush. With the crowd buzzing.
Yeah, but Reading surprised me so much.
Oh, Reading Festival's great. I've been twice and yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, with Leeds, I knew people that were going to be there, so I knew there was going to be people watching me. Reading, there was it was just my team and me. So to have the crowd that I had at Reading and for them to be as excited as they were, that was the best feeling, the best.
I feel like Reading Festival, they're always ready for a party there.
Yeah, always. And it was first day as well, so everyone was really in high spirits.
That's wonderful and well done for that. That's a booking and a half. What are the best bits about your work?
For me personally, the songwriting. I personally can't explain the feeling I have once I've written a song. Like listening to the mastered version of the song, that's all great. But when you're writing it and putting it together, it feels like special. It's like, okay, this is the first, because it's the first time you listen to that as a product. That's definitely my favorite part.
Is it that euphoria feeling?
Yeah, because it's the first time listening to something as a whole.
I love that. It's not, because I feel like when something's mastered and done, it's that polished bit, isn't it? It doesn't have that same feel as that kind of that gritty bit of kind of where you can almost not hear the imperfections. I'm not saying imperfections, but you can hear the breaths and the bits, and with the songwriting as well, it must be an extra layer of how is this gonna sound?
Yes, and knowing that I'm never gonna feel the feeling I felt when I was writing that the very first time. To hearing it in the master, it's beautiful. Listen to a mastered version, but how it is when you're writing it the first time, how you felt in that moment, you won't feel it again. So that's what I love. That's my favorite part.
Putting that pen down and being like, I did that. This is gonna be good. Where can I'm just very wary of time, because I want the panel discussion of everyone to have a good at least one question on that too. So I'm just going to ask you where people can find your music and about you. Have you got a website?
You can find me on Instagram at cc.official, and that's it everywhere. But Spotify and YouTube, it's just CC. And website wise, Northern Baby website. You'll find stuff about me on there.
Northern Baby, is that just like NOR, like Northern?
What's me spelled wrong? NRTHRN baby.
Okay, so NRTHRN.
Yeah.
ERN.
No O's and E's.
No O's, no E's. That makes it easy. Northern, no O's and no E. Well, thank you very much, Cece, and we'll see you back for the panel.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so up next, we're going to go to a couple of videos, have a little interval, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go straight into the panel.
You say all is well, but I'm trying to break the spell. When you left me, you said that you would be different, telling me lies. It was all a disguise. Had to break out of the ignorance. Now I'm starting to see you and worth on my energy. You're worthless than a dime. Why'd you have to waste my time? Now I'm focused on my well-being and staying healthy, manifesting, baby. Now I gotta let you go, let you go. Stop this pain, but you invade my brain. All I think about is you, even when I don't mean to. It's kinda aside, but I miss you. Yeah. I know you want this, why can't you just put your pride aside? I let my guard down with my hopes up that you would confide in me. I know that you're bad for me, I know, that's why I had to let you. Now I gotta let you go, let you go, go. Now I gotta let you go, let you go, go. Now I gotta let you go, let you go, go. You ain't the one for me, let you go, let you go. Let you go, go, go. Let you go, let you go, let you go, go. Go, let you go, go.
It's Eek the Geek on the computer, man. When a slow song comes on, when a slow song comes on, when a slow song comes on. Back in the day before I'm fucking in the hills, I was in my first crib, sitting stressing about the bills. Eating every evening, now we signing bigger deals. Sleeping at the weekend, bro, we don't know how that feels. For real, shorty's coming over just to break they back. If your shorty coming sober, you can take her back. Smoking in the alley, I'll be blazed. In fact, I ain't pick up the phone in some days, lost track. Mama calling me, am I okay? I hate to grind cause I just don't know what to say. I think that I just need some time to get away. Cause it's still a party if we party every day. Okay, I turn off the speaker, let it play. Okay, I let you come but now you wanna stay. Okay, when it gets real I tend to run away. Okay, move so fast that I can't get a hold on. You waste what a waste when it's all gone. It's a race in a place where the DJ can't go wrong. But what you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. What you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. When a slow song comes on. Move so fast that I can't get a hold on. You waste what a waste when it's all gone. It's a race in a place where the DJ can't go wrong. But what you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. What you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. When a slow song comes on. Spent some years feeling uninspired. My early 20s, plenty stories, but I'm fucking tired. Can't be in the movie and write it without getting fired. But their mistake is thinking that my pen retired. Chekhov's gun, I pick it up and trust I'm about to use it. Even when I'm doing everything except the music. Expect the music. I've been the best and now it's best I prove it. Bro, I've been the best and now it's best I prove it. Move so fast that I can't get a hold on. You waste what a waste when it's all gone. It's a race in a place where the DJ can't go wrong. But what you gonna do when a slow song comes on? What you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. Move so fast that I can't get a hold on. You waste what a waste when it's all gone. It's a race in a place where the DJ can't go wrong. But what you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. What you gonna do when a slow song comes on? When a slow song comes on. 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 When a slow song comes on.
Hey, welcome back. That was Maxine. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Some slow R&B. Smashed it. And also Kay. I haven't seen that video before. also like it's weird seeing, especially seeing your progression, Kay, from like when I've seen you years ago, like rapping and repping, and seeing a little bit of singing, a little bit of auto-tune there, like that a lot. Okay, so we're going to go straight into the panel. So I am hoping we're all still here. And I've seen that a few questions have come in, and I've got some of my own. Okay, I think we're all here, or one more of us. Who's missing? Maxine, there we go. Right, if you're all able to unmute yourself, that'd be really great. And welcome back to our audience as well. And hey there, Millie. How's my little doggy baby with Azula there? Not my dog, but our mutual friend's dog. Okay, right. Let's get straight into this, huh? Right, okay, so I'm going to read one of my questions first, just to get us started. And I am going to ask, who should we see? We'll go to Kay. Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Newcastle calling.
Yeah.
Okay. Within your work, how important, if at all, is activism, and what does your activism look like or even sound like?
I think that activism is important. I think what's a beautiful thing is that as Black artists, as female artists, sometimes our activism can just be being in the room. That's an act of defiance against people who would very much prefer us not to be in the room, which is kind of how I go about it. I wouldn't say that I'm an outspoken person when it comes to politics, but I am an outspoken person when it comes to my beliefs. And I kind of make sure that I'm in those settings all the time, and that I'm one of the people who are speaking. And that in of itself, I think, is a defiant act. Yeah.
I think we'd all agree to that.
And just to follow off of what Kay was saying, and also joy as an act of defiance as well.
Yeah.
Black joy is an absolute act.
And that joy, yeah, it's totally the same, exactly just what you said there.
And people don't want to see it, do they? They really don't see us like enjoying our joy. It's like it's just an immediate kind of like, nah, we don't want that. So we're gonna find a way to bring. I'm not saying everybody, but it seems to be that like you said, Kay, as well. Just being in the room, they don't want us there. And then if we are there, it's like, we're not going to make you feel wanted, and you're not allowed to have that tiny amount of joy that you want. And even just being in this room is like absolute joy to me. Like when I come off here, I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna have that exhale where I feel like I had to sort of justify my whole existence. Just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get on with my day, pop to the shop, come home, chill. I've got a question in the chat here. I think, what is the one thing that you wish you knew about when you entered the music scene? And then what has been the biggest help for you? So I'm going to break that down to two. I'm going to ask you, Jacqueline. So what is the one thing you wish you knew before you entered the music scene?
One thing I wish I knew was how unfair the music scene can be. I thought it'd be quite easy, stepping in, doing your thing, getting paid equally as everyone else, having the same amount of time to perform. I thought it would be like that. And it's been such a struggle, and I think everyone can agree. Even if you're not from a person of colour, I think it's just the music industry in general. I didn't understand how hard it was going to be, but that's one thing that I definitely learned throughout the way. And I've learned to be more strong as a person, to push boundaries, to know my true worth, and just stick up for myself in general in terms of the music industry. But that's something I didn't know, and I had to learn throughout the whole career progression. Yeah.
Have any of you found a bit of a pushback in that kind of knowing your worth? Anybody wants to answer that?
Totally, like in the sense of like knowing yourself, like a lot of the times, especially when you're quite solid in yourself, and anybody else sees that and they don't like that, they will try and derail you off that. too. Like people will try and flick self-doubt onto you. And that's how I would say it's important that you know yourself to your core. So that when people try and come at you like that, it just doesn't budge you. Yes, and you are going to feel that little bit of, how dare you, but know yourself.
Know yourself. Maxine, what's been the biggest help for you?
I think just having a really good support system goes a long way. I think that's been the biggest help for me from the start, because I feel like without the support that I had from all the people around me, like the people that I care about, obviously, like my family and stuff, without their support, I don't think I would have pushed the way that I did, the way that I have been pushing. So I feel like that really, really goes a long way.
Support networks are integral. I don't feel like I had one for a very long time being up here. Like I came up here like 19 years ago, and I honestly felt like the oldest but only sort of older black face in Newcastle. Like I know I wasn't, but like I think I was very alternative. I like pink blue hair, piercings, and stood out a lot. And I didn't feel like there was any support network in place, not even for the university. You know, they don't think about that. They don't think about like having that sort of support network. But yeah, just like in the last, I'd say like since the pandemic, actually, like meeting all of you and some of you that I know and some of you that I don't know very well, but like just seeing your faces feels like support to me sometimes, because I know you're just there somewhere that I can kind of, I'm not the only one. You know, seeing some of you even like Kay, I've seen you from like quite young and seeing you grow, and I've probably seen you on the hippie green somewhere at some point when you were a kid. And probably same for Azula as well. And probably some of you, you know, I've probably seen you walk past you when you were tiny. And yeah, just like I feel like, yeah, everyone's grown up now. This is great. I can chat to you now. Got a question I'm going to ask to Cece. How have you found navigating the music industry as a woman, or however you identify?
For me, I think I've been quite lucky because I have an amazing team. My manager is also a woman, so she's obviously been in the industry prior, so she kind of gives me a reality check in the sense of like, it's not going to be easy. There's this and this and this you got to do. You've got to work 10 times harder as a woman, and not just a woman, a black woman on top of that. So I'd say I've got it quite, like I'm quite comfortable knowing I've not gone into this blindly. So I have an amazing support system, Northern Baby, the best team ever. But me being blessed enough to have a female-led team has helped me massively, I think, navigate my life, and my music well, to be fair.
Sounds like you've definitely been lucky there. That's for sure. I think it's a good sign of the times, actually, if that's happening. That's a really good sign. Lorato or Azula, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm so sorry. Old life, new life. Azula, you know, you are a non-binary person. Has that been any kind of struggle in just the sense of how you feel about yourself and your identity, or have you found that quite easy to navigate?
It's a bit of both. I find that I can blend in some situations and just find some way of navigating well and being myself in some ways, but there's some times where that's totally been taken the wrong way. I'm not someone that's scared of saying what I say. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm not scared of saying it, but I'll say it still. And I'm not always met with the best response. But recently I've been seeing it does pay off, like absolutely. And but at the same time, it's also tiring. And especially in terms of like being non-binary. I know that I'm still very femme presenting, and a lot of the times, say in male environment, that gets forgotten a lot. And you do start to feel a bit of sexism and misogyny, and even still, like I've never quite fully separated from womanhood, like that's still something I hold deep to my core through my businesses, teaching twerk and get your freak on. Like that's something I still hold deep to my core. So when those kind of moments happen, it really does irk me, and sometimes it's taken a lot not to go to bad place there. But I've done well to stay on top of it.
I think so. I would agree to that. I would definitely agree to that. I think the sexualization part is, I think I found that probably one of the most difficult parts, you know, the sort of black fetishization. I don't know if some of you have experienced that, but, you know, I don't know whether it's because I am a woman or whether it's, or, you know, woman presenting, and then, yeah, people just think they can just lay their hands on you. And that's really, I found that very, very difficult in the music scene. I think it's not something I really expected to kind of come into and then go, oh, people really like touching us, like touching our hair. They like, you know, othering us in any opportunity they can get to like just make you feel like that. But at the same time, you know, I think it's nice that we are battling back those things, you know, saying, and we can actually talk about it and be in a room and talk about it and know that we're all going through probably the same kind of things. And yeah, just having these spaces is very important to kind of discuss that and dispel people's ideas of us. And we are human beings standing and sitting here behind these screens. I'm going to go back to Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it was you that mentioned imposter syndrome. Was it you that mentioned that?
Yes.
Yeah. How you obviously you've experienced it. How do you experience that? What does it make you feel? You know, I mean, I'm not trying to delve too much and totally make you feel bad. Like, what is your version of imposter syndrome? How does that make you act and feel?
I think it's really simple. It's just feeling unworthy, you know, low self-confidence, thinking, you know, you don't deserve the position you have. The more you grow, you start to think maybe someone else, you know, deserves the things that you do or the opportunities you have. I think it's due to not having a lot of support, but, you know, having lots of people that would congratulate you afterwards, after you've achieved something. And I think it's really important to have that equal balance of having that extra support and having that well done, you achieved this and that. And I think when you have both, that's when you kind of like spell that kind of imposter syndrome that may come across. But I have experienced it myself. I think every artist will experience it once in their lifetime. As you grow, there will be a time in your life where you will question things and ask yourself, am I really worthy? Am I as great as this artist, for example? Or maybe I should just stop what I'm doing, or maybe this and that. And I think it's important to know that it's natural. It will happen to all of us, especially in terms of being a Black person in the scene, not seeing a lot of people, but just, you know, don't take notice of that, keep pushing, have as much confidence as you possibly can, and know that it's happening to all of us. It's something that you will go through. It's very natural because everyone does. We're all human beings, but just keep pushing and know that you're on the right path. You're not here for nothing. You're definitely doing it for a reason, and you know that, you know, you're enjoying it and you're doing it for a purpose. And the more you do it, the more, you know, you enjoy it and you will be confident.
It's interesting to hear you say about the support aspect of it, you know, versus the congratulations. And I've never actually thought about that before. Like when you get that congratulations and without any of that kind of support network before, it does make you this thinking about it now, like, I don't know if any of you have ever thought about it in that way before, but that congratulations doesn't really sit quite well, does it? For me, it doesn't really. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. Kay, have you ever felt like that? You have quite a lot of support, maybe.
In terms of like imposter syndrome?
Well, I guess, you know when you kind of get that like, oh, well done from a community that probably hasn't supported you, and then they want to be there when you've done well, they want to be there, but it's like, where were you in the beginning? Does that make you feel like a bit like, oh, did I do well? Did I not? I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose for me, I'm a very, if you've met me in person, I'm very, well, you have, I'm very chatty and I'm quite open and stuff like that. But like, I have a quite small circle. I have the same friends I had when I was a teenager. I'm always at home. I'm kind of always surrounded by the same people who've seen me from being like 12, 13 years old. So it's kind of like, I only ever really take congratulations from those people. And then everybody else is like, it's really nice. But for me, it's like I get my validation from people who I know care about me and love me and have that and have a knowledge of how far I've came, and I get that criticism from them people as well. I think something that I did when I was younger that kind of tripped me up a bit is I sort of give the world license to criticize and validate me. I think that's a mistake that a lot of young artists make. It's like you shouldn't give the world that much power, because they can turn around and go, oh, you're trash, and then you're going to feel trash. You should only ever get that from people who have your best interests at heart and who want to see you succeed and want to see you happy, which is definitely what I do. And my friends give me the greatest hater remarks and also the greatest love. So, that's kind of how I manage that.
So what you're saying is we need to give more hater comments to the people around us to make them then feel proud when they get the congratulations. Perfect. Thank you very much for clearing that up.
Not hating on friends was the message of that.
Exactly, and that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'm going to message you and being like, nah, change that, do that.
Exactly.
Knocking you down and bringing you back up.
Exactly that.
100%.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. That's my takeaway message from this whole thing today. Right, I haven't learned anything else. That's it.
Dropping gems. Yeah.
Cece, I'm going to ask you a question now. If there's now within your, sorry, I'm going to start again. I've asked you what your highlights have been, and as a young artist, you've clearly had some like very short space, really big highlights. Have there been anything so far that's made you kind of go, is this really what I want to do?
Oh, I wouldn't say there's anything that made me in the past, because I've not been doing it like so long. And I'd say the worst part for me is, for example, because back in June or July, I won #1 young songwriter in the country in Ireland. So I've had like, over the year, I've had like very big highs. So once that's over, like Red and Leeds finished, you're like, right, okay, what's happening now? Like there's a period of waiting, and in that period of waiting, it's not necessarily like nothing's going on. It's just, I have to think, right, if I want a moment like that again, I need to build up to the next moment. I can't be upset in this period of waiting because it's going to happen regardless. There's no way I'm always going to be up there doing festivals. Festival season ends. So it's like, always, I think it's just play everything by ear, enjoy the period of waiting. I need to enjoy that, because as much as I love the period of everything happening so fast, there's no way I could do that 24/7. So I need to be grateful for that period of waiting as well. And I think that was a negative at first for me, but now I've learned to be really grateful for it, because that's where the most creation happens. Yeah.
That's something I still need to learn, I think. You just told me a little valuable lesson. Those quiet moments, I need to like not be just going all the time and on to the next thing. Is it period of reflection? And what's that film? Waiting to Exhale? That like, yeah, that little wait to exhale. I'm going to ask Azula a question, and then I'm going to go to Maxi. To you, Azula, how apparent is the gender inequality in the music industry, particularly in the Northeast?
Gender inequality.
Yeah, how apparent is it in the music industry, particularly in the Northeast? Limber up.
It's pretty apparent, like, especially, I can't remember what we were just talking, like, what brought this thought on as well. Yes, imposter syndrome. When people are like saying, like, they congratulate, like backhanded compliments, like they're surprised to see you in the position that you are, and I'm just like,
we all feel it, yeah.
yeah. And me personally, I've always disliked the notion that I'm in certain positions because of how I look. I'm not gonna lie, I guess I do take pride in presentation as well too. Like I like to express myself creatively too, and that comes from how I dress and how I do my makeup. But that's in all of us as artists. Like when it comes to showing up, we are gonna show up.
Yes.
So especially as females, when we show up, and to get that kind of feelings of resentment from people to see where you are, it's just like, wow, calm down. Like, it's not my fault I'm fabulous. Like, get more fabulous.
That is t-shirt worthy.
Oh
Yes.
gosh. I'm just like, it's like, you gotta hold yourself in these moments. I'm just like, you're just gonna, like, you want to mansplain at me, and I'm gonna let you, just so you can get through this, because you're struggling more than I am to having to talk to me like this. So I'm just gonna grit and smile through it, and it's
You
nice.
find that in black, in BLM, like in the pandemic, when we started coming out and people were like, oh yeah, we're just a moment because we're black, we're the moment. There was that kind of element of like people thinking that you got work because you were black, or they wanted you because you were black, but it's like, oh yeah, well, you wouldn't have got this job if you were this. Maybe not, maybe just me. No, I saw a lot of that on like social media and stuff, like people going on about like
it needs to be more diverse, we need more black people included and all this. No, absolutely, 100%.
But then people kind of using that against you as if that's the only reason you got a job.
Yeah,
like you were saying, Azula, about the only reason you got a job is because you look fabulous, or because you've got makeup on, or because you're this. It's like that. Sorry, you continue, Azula.
I'm sorry, my internet was jumping there, so I kind of just heard what everybody said once, but I think I get the general gist. Could you repeat like that last question?
Yeah, it was just more, carry on what you were saying.
What was I saying? There's
so
many directions his answers. I think I'm trying to avoid some of those directions.
That's all right. We can. We don't have to always be the one on, do we? We don't always have to be the.
I just want to say from my personal experiences that I've seen it, like I've experienced it. I'm at a place now where I just let it be water for the bag. But again, I always come back to that knowing yourself sense, which I think that's something that I've really started to get a grasp on and holding on to more. But yeah, I feel like in Newcastle we've still got quite a bit of a journey to go in that sense. And for those people like trying to make those kind of decisions, it's just like ask questions. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking questions. There's nothing wrong with judging yourself before you even ask the questions, and give people that right recognition that they deserve. And a genuine thank you instead of just like a fake congratulations, goes like a lot further. Like, thank you for creating this kind of space, given this environment, and that different element that sometimes is missing. Well, that's missing a lot.
Very missing. And Jacqueline, you must see that a lot in like techno, because it's so, it's such a particular subset of people in that DJing genre. We all know what I'm saying when I'm sure most of us know what I'm saying when I say that, a certain look of someone, or what is perceived of the look of someone in techno.
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes when I have to perform like in a crowd full of, people that don't look like me, it's very frightening, I get a bit of anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, all eyes on me and I don't look the same as them. And you start to feel a bit anxious of being like, where's all the people that look like me? Where's the other crowd? And there'll be times where, I'll DJ in London and I'll see a few black people and I'll be like, oh my God, this is amazing and stuff. And I feel like it's still missing there, because there are a few black people in the Northeast. It's not like it's not there, it still is. And I just want everyone to feel included, and that it is a safe space. If I'm there and I'm performing and I'm a black person, I'm a black woman, you are also welcome, We need to kind of remove that perception of it being like a space for only men, or for only people that want to show off or aren't accepting other people. It's very much more, open. And I just want people to feel more welcome. And I think that's why I'm going to continue doing this, because within the techno scene. I don't see a lot of Black people, but I would like to, you know, see it much more diverse. And I think, you know, performing or as a DJ will possibly maybe bring that kind of crowd round. If they see someone like that, they'll be like, but Jacqueline's Black, she's performing tonight, I can go there and I'll feel safe. It's not like I'm walking in there and I see someone I don't see anyone like me and I just feel awkward. If someone's doing it, then I can definitely go in and, you know, I'll be fine. And I think it's very important to continue and be a role model where you can. When I came to Newcastle, I don't think I saw a Black techno DJ. I don't think I've seen one at all. And I think it's very important to continue that step, doing what you're doing, making sure you're known and making sure it's diverse. And then you can go to other countries and be yourself as a person of colour and say to them, you know, Jacqueline's doing it, come round. It's very diverse. I feel safe in this space because she looks just like me, you know, or very, you know, similar to how I am.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, yeah, you know, I don't think I've seen any Black women techno DJs in the Northeast.
No.
I don't know in many places actually in the UK, really. Probably, you know, maybe in like certain niche parts. And I'm talking, you know, when you get really into the niche parts of techno, I think it's like,
yeah, it's
just a very certain, I'm trying to be diplomatic, which is not like me, so I'm really struggling. Yeah, I'll move on. Maxine. Okay, Stacey's already kind of answered this, but I'm going to ask you as well. What are the biggest pluses and minuses to being in the, this has come from YouTube, by the way. What are the biggest pluses and minuses to being part of the music scene in the Northeast?
Biggest pluses and minuses. I would say the biggest plus is that for the kind of sound that I like, the kind of music I make, and I'd say the sound that I kind of fit into, I'd say the biggest plus is that there's not really many artists in the Northeast with doing that, whether it's R&B, soul, or like amapiano or just Afro. There's not many artists doing it, so I think the biggest plus is kind of like introducing the new sound, well, to them, to the Northeast audience. It's like a new sound. So I think that's kind of like one thing that I've enjoyed. But also the biggest minus is that I feel like there aren't many people who are open to like different sounds, or just like seeing black people, Black women especially, like doing not the usual alternative or indie rock, like you know what I mean, the usual stuff that most people in the Northeast are used to seeing or listening to, or they'll go in a bar and there'll be a gig on and it's like indie rock or like alternative. They're not used to seeing artists performing R&B, amapiano, or, you know, Afro pop, like all these other sounds. So I think the minus is that like they're not as open to it. But yeah, those are the only two things I can think of right now.
I know, I think you're right, especially, you know, saying about Jacqueline as well, what Jacqueline was saying, you know, people don't seem to be as open. Like I played at a festival in Birmingham and it was just like, I just felt like the crowd were just like buzzing. And then the stuff that I wouldn't normally play, I played there because I thought I would try it out. And the reception was a lot better than what I imagined. And I have since then had when I played certain things up here, because they have this sort of expectation of what they want to hear. And then when they don't hear that, they're like, well, this is shit, isn't it? You're like, okay, well, they're not dancing or they don't want it. You know, I've had people shout at me like, play reggae. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're actually shouting play reggae at me? Or they're asking me about like hip hop artists. Like, that's just what I've come to play. Like, and I'm like, no, like,
seriously.
Yeah, like, really? Is this what you, because it also there's that expectation, you know, what they want to hear is maybe like the indie rock and stuff, but what they think they want to hear from you is just what they've seen on TV, or what they see your skin tone, they go, oh yeah, it's going to be reggae. That's it. Yeah. Reggae. I know it. The Bob Marley hat's coming on. The joint's coming out. It'll be all reggae all the time. And then when they don't get that, they're like, oh, I don't know how to process it. And you know, a majority of us have probably been there. They want us taking our asses, or they want us saying that kind of music. And anything else that goes against the grain is like, no. Azula's just like, no comment. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
If the Northeast music scene was going to thrive and be welcoming and representative, what is the one thing you would like to see? Venues, festivals, funding, opportunities, or other things? Or all of those things?
I think the thing that I would want to see, if I had to pick one thing, there's a lot of things I would like to see. But the thing that I would like to see probably is something that I think we've had it in smaller ways, or we've had it in different doses. But what I would like is just a Black music festival.
Yes.
Established in Newcastle every year. That's our thing. Do you know what I mean? Northeast Black Music Festival. And I know we've had similar things in the past, but I look at things like Generator Live, even like when Evolution Emerging was happening. If we had a version of that was for up and coming Black artists paired with established Black artists, that would be amazing. And because it's that thing of the current generation matching up with the younger people, and having it like across like 20 venues across the city, like they do for the other festivals, shut the city down, 20 venues, all everybody playing Black music. We'll have some reggae for the people who want to hear that.
I'm banning reggae. I'm banning it.
Not the reggae.
Knee reggae. Not happening.
I'm Caribbean. We'd have reggae.
Me too, but you know what?
We'd have some, in all seriousness, we'd have like everything: soca, Afrobeat, Amapiano, Kuduro, hip hop, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or everywhere being as many places as we can represent as possible on a yearly reliable basis, not once and then we never do it again. Yearly reliable, so that young Black artists who are grown up in Newcastle can have something to aspire to. I want to play that festival because that's going to put me in front of the right people. Inviting along people, A&Rs, people who are interested in representing Black artists, not representing artists who happen to be Black, like artists who are making Black music and putting that out there, like bringing these people to the city to see the Black music scene in Newcastle because it exists. You know,
and I think it's important that it's by as well, not just, you know, a lot of sort of white people like feeding off of our vibe, actually giving those money to those Black organizations, not just even in the Northeast, but from like different parts, and bringing it up here. Because, you know, when we see buy and led for events, that's where you see the real change, because they have a vested interest in coming back. You know, they don't helicopter in and just go, I've done my bit, I had my bit of fun, and they leave. It's like, actually they're invested. And Northeast based Black people as well. You know, there are organizations doing things, but where's our funding? Where is it? You know, where it's like, I know funding is really hard to get hold of, but it's there. It's there, and not gatekeeping. These organizations who gatekeep and make things impossible to apply for because they're ableist, they need to be decolonized. You know, even just application forms. You know, if you're already in a sort of a trauma mindset or you've had hardships, then going have to fill out a form is just like, oh, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. And so we need the people that can actually help us to kind of just go, here's some money, we'll guide you, but let us do our thing and come back. And, you know, okay, you're really right. Like it needs to be on a yearly thing. We would buy yearly thing, you know, just something where we know it's coming, we can prep for it, and with something to look forward to, because there are way more Black people in the Northeast than ever, you know, that I've seen like come up, and I'm like, wow, like there's a scene here now. And I think we don't even have a carnival. Where's our carnival? I want a carnival. I want to see some cheeks. I want to see some.
You know what they play at carnival? Reggae. See?
Reggae carnival. Fair. Do you know what? Fair. I'll give you that. Caribbean too.
I feel like carnival here would be something else.
Mm.
All the pub uncles would be walking around the streets.
They'd plan an EDL march on the same day.
Probably.
No, like I'd be scared to see that for real.
Yeah, you know what though? I would love to see it for other reasons, but yeah, I want to see this. I want to see this. 2023 Newcastle Carnival. Somebody watching? If you got any
I'd
money?
be on a balcony for this one.
Yeah,
Just-
no, that's a class right there.
I'm telling you now, Azula, you'll be front and center. Don't try that. You won't be able to stop it. You'll be there with your whistle, blue whistle, one nail hanging off. You're gonna be there.
Bro, we're fighting with whistles. Oh my God.
That is
Right, I'm gonna ask one more question and then I'm gonna end the live stream for today because I'm aware that we're sort of like going over time. Cece.
Yes.
Hi. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Okay, right. I'm gonna go to my last question, which I think, which one should we go for? Let's see if we've got any more questions from the audience. What have I asked this already? Tell me if I already asked this. I can't remember. What does the industry need to do? I don't think I did, to be more welcoming to global majority women and non-binary people.
Ooh. The industry needs to stop assuming that women that walk into studios and whatnot are groupies or whatnot. They're
louder, please. Please.
with respectable job roles. And they're not here for shits and giggles. They're here to do a job.
Yes.
This happens sometimes. Like, it's ridiculous now. Like, to assume that it's obviously, I understand male-dominated industry. Yeah, but the women behind the scenes are what are keeping the wheel turning. Most of the biggest projects that have come out this year, the women are behind it. Central C, there's women behind it. Everything there's women behind it, but it's men with their faces everywhere. And I find it so sad that women are walking in the studios. My manager included, Nick Coker. She walked into a studio. No, like, people need to understand that they have respectful job roles. Like, these are serious working people with serious professions, and they want to be respected within their job roles. And everyone needs to start taking women more serious. It's not banter. It's serious. We're coming for the men.
It's serious, not banter.
Not banter.
You know, and I guess as well, it's dispelling because, you know, we say women a lot, but, you know, non-binary people and you know, trans people, we're all here and we deserve a place. And yeah, like you said, we're not here for shits and giggles. We're not here for your amusement and your voyeurism and your pleasure. We're here to work. And you know what I'll say, like, if we're performing, stop trying to talk to us like we're not at work. Like, you know, stop trying to tell us what you used to do for a living, because we don't care. We're at our job. We don't care what you used to do. We don't care if you were a DJ in Ibiza. You ain't now. So go on. Don't care that you used to do R&B, backing singer. I don't care. We're here in this moment. I'm in a bit of a rant now. You know, you got me going now, Cece. But it's true, you know, we're not here for shits and giggles. We're here for, like, this is our livelihood and this is what we love doing. And I think, yeah, you know, and give us some money, pay us well and respect that, you know, when we're Black people going into certain spaces, we feel vulnerable, make us feel comfortable, welcome, you know, make that extra effort. Imagine what it would be like if you walked into a room knowing you're the only person who looks like you in that room. How would you feel? And if you're a woman, non-binary person, you walk into a room, there's all men, you know how you would feel. So imagine how we feel on an everyday basis, just when we leave the house. You know, make us feel comfortable, pay us well, and don't assume we're here for shits and giggles. We're here to work. But thank you all so much. It's been really wonderful. Thank you to Kay, Azula, Cece, Jacqueline, and Maxine. And thank you to Northern Roots for this lovely platform to do this today. And thank you to Tour de Moon for providing the funding. And thank you to our tech, who is Homera. And thank you to the audience. And we will see you again soon. And make sure that you check out all the socials. Azula, I didn't get to mention yours, but could you just say yours before you go?
Azula Bandit, AZULA BANDIT.
Okay, I'll say it slower. AZULA K-N-D-I-T. And yeah, and you know, if you want to know any more social, just skip the YouTube link back. The YouTube will be up for as long as it would like to. I would like it, or Northern Roots would like it to stay up for the foreseeable future. And just again, thank you all so much for taking part. It's been really great, and just lovely to see you all. And I hope you have a restful evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
everyone.
Bye.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye.